let's go make some riso prints. I had two objectives today. I wanted to make some new riso menus. Those are my colour swatch prints that I use when I'm making a new print and want to decide what colours to use. And objective number 2, I have some new A4 artwork that I'd like to print.
It's very cute and silly. Keep watching if you want to see the end result. So let's get to printing.
For a fun little bit of context, this was one of the hottest days in the UK this year. Not fun when you're in an old building with the sun streaming in through those windows. And no, I don't want to see any comments from people who have not experienced British heat.
I don't want to hear it.
But Brits, feel free to moan about it in the comments. Luckily, the riso print room does have some big ceiling fans, which is very nice and work very well in circulating the hot air.
Okay, rant over. Let's talk about riso printing. The riso, full name risograph, is this machine here. It looks like a big photocopier, and it is kind of essentially what it is. They're a Japanese invention made to produce large amounts of prints at low cost. And then artists were like, oh, these colours are really nice, let's use it for art prints. But the beauty of this machine is that it layers ink colours like a screen print. So you print one ink colour at once. You can see now I'm changing the barrel. Some machines have 2 barrels, so you can put 2 colours in the machine at once, but it still just prints one after the other. So the ink colours are layered like in a screen print. So you get these lovely overlapping effects. And you can make loads of new colours with it because you can mix the colours to your heart's content, which is exactly what I'm doing now. The workshop that I go to use the riso printer at recently got loads of new colours, so I thought I'd test some of them out. So I'm making my colour swatch menus right now. I always print from light to dark. I was told this was good practice and it always seems to work for me. So fluorescent yellow is my lightest colour on all my swatches. The fluorescent pink is my mid-tone on all my swatches. And then I'm going to alternate the darkest colour to some of the new ink colours that they've got.
If you want to see more about how I make the files for print, let me know in the comments. I won't make a video anyway, to be honest, because I find it interesting and other people might too. So right now I'm just printing the fluorescent pink layer. You can see I've made quite a few of my swatch prints. That's for 2 reasons. One, it's always best to send a print through several times. When you've made a new master, that's the mesh, if you like, through which the artwork is printed, because it can take a minute to push the colour through and come out looking as it should. And also I like a few copies of these swatch prints anyway, because I cut them up, I put them on my walls just so I can see all the colours properly. It's really useful to cut them up because then I can put them like right next to each other and decide which colours I want, which colours look good together. The new colours I was planning on using today were the medium blue and the green. So far for my 3 colour prints, I've just been using the yellow, pink and aqua. But I'm really glad they've got these darker colours in now so that I can add a bit more tonal variation in my art if I need to. And they also have a new colour that I'd totally forgotten about, which I do print as a wild card, and I love it. But first up, I'm doing the medium blue. It did turn out darker than I was anticipating, but I still really love it. As you'll see when it comes to printing my new artwork. Ooh. And just like that, so many delicious new colours. Now onto the green. Wow, the green is so pretty. I did have one specific zine project in mind when I was printing this, but otherwise I thought I wasn't going to be that bothered about the green because I can make really beautiful greens from the yellow and the aqua, but then I printed it. And it's so beautiful. Especially with the pink, it makes these really beautiful cool tone greys. Yep, delighted with that one. So excited to use it in a print. Then we have the wildcard colour, which is teal. So I'd forgotten they got this colour in. Didn't know if I was going to be that bothered about it anyway when I realised, but I thought I'd just print it and have a see. So as you can imagine, it's more green than the medium blue, and it's also a little bit lighter in tone. So I thought that might be useful if I don't want something super dark. And yay, everything is going well so far. You never know with the riso, she can be temperamental. Now we're going to move on to really fun stuff. Printing an art print and not just colour swatches. Colour swatches are fun, but it's not artwork, is it? So first of all, I realised I've made a mistake. The riso can print A4 and A3, but I always print on A3 sheets. Even when I'm making A4 prints, the alignment's just better. So for A4 prints, I put 2 on one sheet of A3. But I didn't do this when I was prepping my artwork, which is why I always bring my laptop to the riso workshop so that we can do some cheeky bits of Photoshop if we need to. Now we're ready to print. The original plan for this print was to use yellow and pink as I always do, but then use the new medium blue. So sort of this darker, more cool tone blue was in my head when I was designing this print, but without knowing what the ink would actually look like because I'd not tested it yet. So yeah, that was in my head, but you'll see I try out some stuff. And the stuff looks pretty cool. This is the first layer. There's not much yellow in this print, so it's really faint. It gets a bit more exciting with the pink, but the blue layer is where it really comes to life. Now you're going to see the riso throw a hissy fit. Not fun, not cool. And I was working against the clock, as I always am with a riso session. For whatever reason, she just wouldn't print my master. Did the good old turning her on and off again. That didn't work. Then one of the lovely technicians came to help me, and what do you know? It magically started working again. Didn't do anything different. I promise. I promise. They're just temperamental, and that's okay. If annoying. Eventually, I managed to print the pink layer, and I can't even be that annoyed because it looks ace. I'll still be a little bit annoyed. Anyway, moving on. At this point, I realised I'd made another mistake. I had printed half of my sheet, so that's 25. And I forgot to check the alignment at the start. With riso printing, like any other type of printing, you have to make sure each of your layers is aligned. And I totally forgot. I forgot. But let me tell you, by some miracle, the colours were aligned. I don't know how this happened. I don't want to question it because I don't think I've ever had that happen. I've always had to adjust the alignment a little bit, if not a lot. But panic over, the yellow and pink layers were aligned pretty perfectly on all the prints. So we can go ahead and do the other half. There's always going to be a bit of misalignment just because of how the paper feeds into the machine, and sometimes the master doesn't always roll on the drum completely straight. But that's the beauty of any type of printmaking. There's always going to be small differences between each print, which makes them all unique. We're on to the last layer, which is the medium blue, and wow, I am excited about this one. I think this might be my favourite print yet. Look how pretty those colours are. That blue suits this print perfectly. The print's called Sunday Morning, so I wanted this beautiful morning light shining through. And look how happy I am. I'm absolutely delighted with this one. Now, that being said, I did still want to try one more thing. Normally when I do a 3-colour riso print, I'll use the fluo yellow, fluo pink and aqua. So I just wanted to see what this print would look like with the aqua instead of the medium blue. Spoilers, it also looks really good and I print lots of it. Yeah, so I couldn't decide which one I like more. I really like both and I think my audience will as well. So I decided to do half and half. I did 25 sheets of the medium blue and I did 25 sheets of the aqua. That doesn't mean I have 50 of each though, because we have to go through quality control. That's a whole other video, but unfortunately some prints do get scrapped because the alignment's off or the ink is a bit patchy. I recycle them. Some get used for thank you cards that I send out with my shop orders, and some will get reprinted on top of or chopped up and used as experiments. But for now, here are the final aqua prints and these are the final medium blueprints. I'm so happy with both of them. I hope you like them too. I actually did my first art market last weekend since making these prints and I sold one of the aqua ones, so yay! But that's all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed your trip to the riso studio with me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.